Calling Cory Gardner's office, trying to reveal the fraud here.
Thank you for calling Congressman Cory Gardner's office. This is Dan. How can I help you?
Dan, how you doing? This is Dwayne Brothwell.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. You know, I recently interacted with the Greeley Police Department and, you know, trying to educate them about the contractual nature of their system where they need your signature. They need your agreement. And one of the things that the guy did, well, here's one thing that the officer did. I began to question him when he confronted me. And when I began to question him, he got a little upset and he said, okay, well, I'm going to write you a ticket. Almost saying to me that, okay, well, if you don't want to listen to me, then I'm just going to get rough with you. Okay? And these are the kind of standards that this government is upholding to its people. They don't like to be questioned. And I have a problem with that. Another thing is I began to ask him questions and they cannot answer my questions. And then when I told him I did not want to sign the ticket because I don't agree to it. I don't want a contract. And then he was using force and coercion by saying, well, I'm going to take you to jail then. You know, like here he is asking me to sign and I'm voluntarily not wanting to sign, and then he uses force. And Dan, that is not the American system. That is not the way our country was founded. If you want, what concerns me is that everybody is calling themselves an American, but yet they're in a bankrupted system. We're 17 trillion in debt. And I'm frankly, I'm tired of it. I mean, it's a shame that a poor man like me has to have this whole system figured out, because who am I? So I want some answers from Cory Gardner, Dan, and I've been trying, and I even told those officers, I said, you know, I'm trying to get a hold of my the representative. I'm trying to get a hold of Mark Udal. I always get the answering machine with Mark Udal.
That's all you get is the answering machine?
Yes, that's all I ever get. It's almost like they know I'm calling and they won't answer. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I know I have caller ID and I have a choice if I want to answer or not, and they never answer my phone call. And even when I do leave them a message, I never get a response back. I've wrote letters to them. I got it on video. In fact, I have a lot of conversations with you on video. And I have proof that I'm calling. So, and I'm getting no response, Dan, and that, frankly, Dan, common sense says that if you guys are not answering my question, you guys are doing something fishy, and I don't like it. I'm not gonna, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not going to be subject to a system that does not want to answer my questions. And I think that's common sense, don't you, Dan?
You know, we're usually pretty good about replying to people when they have inquiries and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I asked Maria, I go, what is the birth certificate for? I want to know why we weren't taught that in school. Can you find out for me? This is going to be, you know, like the second or third time that I've requested an answer to that question, to those types of questions.
Why there is a birth certificate?
Yeah.
Or a birth certificate is issued when somebody's born?
Yeah, because there are some things that concern me regarding that. You know, first of all, you guys didn't teach me. Your government, which you have a birth certificate, right?
Sure.
Okay, so it's your government because you're in contract with it. Did not teach me about it. So what I've learned is that it creates a corporation at our birth, where we do business with the international bankers through the United States Corporation. And we didn't have those until we became bankrupt. So I believe since you didn't teach me, and I'm learning on my own, that they are instruments of bankruptcy where we voluntarily give up our rights. And even my wife went to the Greeley Police Department, and an officer, what was his name, Roybal, said that they're not allowed to talk about the word travel. Because in your language, the legal language, drive is a commercial term, and that's the only term that you are allowed to talk about. You're not allowed to talk about the Constitution. That's what he admitted. So I want some answers, Dan. Am I being out of bounds by wanting an answer?
So, birth certificates are issued by the states.
Yes, there's
so
no
you
law.
want to talk to a state office about that.
So you have nothing to do with that?
I don't think so.
No? So what is your purpose then? I guess maybe I'm confused.
What is the purpose of this congressional office?
Yeah. Is he a congressional representative?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he represent Congress? Does he represent the United States Corporation? Or does he represent Americans or United States citizens?
He represents the constituents of the 4th Congressional District.
What is the constituent? What is the definition? I'm guessing it has a legal term that means somebody who's in contract with the United States Corporation.
I haven't seen that particular definition.
So basically, you can't tell me either way then what it is, in fact.
I don't know what the exact wording is.
Yeah. So, who does?
What a member of Congress does?
No, constituent. Who knows what the word constituent means?
Yeah, I don't know if that's somewhere official. It probably is somewhere official, but I don't know where.
Yeah,
that would be.
Here's the thing, there, Dan, is when an officer finds somebody behind the wheel of a car and they're operating without a driver's license, that's a commercial term, driver. That's why we have a right to travel. That's why they use the word drive, because it enters you into their system using your ignorance. And when you use words like constituents, official, United States, you have to understand what these words mean, because if you don't, you are entering into a totally different world where people are capitalizing on our ignorance.
Okay.
And if the cops were told to tell us the truth, they would lose a lot of business, because they're a business. People would wake up, they would stop contracting, because of course nobody wants to get a ticket for stupid things. I mean, where on earth does it say in the Bible that you have to stop at a stop sign because it's red and it says stop? Common sense says that if you can see both ways, that stop sign does not mean a damn thing. That's sorcery.
In Colorado revised statutes, there's
that's sorcery,
something
though.
that tells you whether or not you should stop.
Yeah, but that's sorcery. That's man-made scheme. Common sense is what this country was founded on, and common sense says that if you approach an intersection and there's nobody coming, you have all rights, God-given rights to go. It's sorcery.
I'm not sure about that.
Huh?
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, yeah. See, but that's what the birth certificate is for. It's to trick you into signing whenever an officer asks you to sign something. That's what it's all about. It's all about sorcery and trying to get you to volunteer to enter into a contract of business, because this country is not a country. It is a corporation owned by international bankers. So Dan, will you do that for me? I want you to, and I've already asked Maria, I'm telling you, I am not going to listen to you guys. I am not going to comply with a damn thing in this country until you start giving me answers to my questions. I want to know why the birth certificate was created. I want to know the full inner workings, because Edward Mandell House said that it's a fraud. George Washington.
Like I say, I think the issuance of a birth certificate is a state issue. It's not a federal issue. So you probably want to talk to a state official about that, not a federal official. That wouldn't be our jurisdiction.
Well, according to what I'm understanding, nothing is your jurisdiction because you haven't answered any questions of mine. I asked for a simple stance on fiat currency. What is Cory Gardner's stance on fiat currency? I couldn't get it. Is that his jurisdiction?
No, but no one ever has got back to you on that?
No, they've never given me a full answer.
Okay.
You know, everybody knows Ron Paul is for the gold standard. That's common knowledge. But it seems that people who are in agreement with fiat currency, which is opposite of gold, are hiding. This is a corrupt system, Dan, because nobody wants to. Ron Paul is he's a upstanding, honest, straightforward man. And he likes the gold standard, and that's the way we are. Us who like the gold standard, we're honest and we're straightforward. But people who like fiat currency, it's like pulling a tooth. You guys are like worms. You guys don't answer. So there's another question. I want you to ask Cory Gardner, is he in agreement with fiat currency or the gold standard?
I remember submitting that question before.
Yeah, and they called me, but I didn't get a straight answer.
Oh, okay, they did call you.
Yeah, it's on video. I got it on video.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be, there's a protocol, and the protocol is to pass those questions on to the...
Okay, well, why aren't I getting any response?
Well, you did get a response, right? They called.
I mean, it wasn't an answer to the question. Oh, okay, yeah, we're going to respond. Oh, thank you. That to me is not a response. That to me is a worm-like action where somebody is crawling around, avoiding me.
Well, like I said, there's a protocol. I mean, those are the legislative correspondent. That would be the person who's responding to that.
So there's no way that I can get you to ask Cory Gardner a simple question like, do you agree with fiat currency or the gold standard? Could you ask him that question and then just relay the answer back to me?
We've got a protocol.
You're not going to fulfill my request to ask him that question.
Your question was asked within the organization according to the system that we have set up.
Yeah, what is your system? Is your system the American system, or is it the bankrupted United States corporation system owned by international bankers?
It's a system according to the office rules of this.
Yeah, so are you guys owned by international bankers?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, you are. Well, to my understanding, that's why I'm asking these questions. Yes, you are owned. If you have a birth certificate, you have a social security card, you are owned by the international bankers.
Okay.
But I'm trying to find...
I got a conference call at 11:30 I got to get ready for.
Yeah, I guess that's more important than trying to find the truth, Dan.
So we've been talking for like 15 or 20 minutes.
Well, so I'm looking for answers.
Okay.
Is that out of your realm?
Is there something you wanted to bottom line that I can pass on or something?
Yeah, I want to know why we weren't taught about the social security card and the birth certificate in school. Okay, write that down.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to get you the answer to that.
Well, how come?
I don't know that that's our jurisdiction.
Yeah, I think you guys are hiding something, Dan. I mean, common sense says that. That's why you guys don't know nothing. You guys don't know anything. I know something. I know that we ended in bankruptcy, and that's when they started doing the birth certificate, because we were sovereign. In order to give up your sovereignty, you have to voluntarily give it up, and you have to have a signature saying that you're giving it up. But we were never told the full details of those contracts. Therefore, you are taking advantage of us through our ignorance, and I'm talking about this whole country. You guys don't know because you're simply collecting a paycheck and following orders. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I feel like I work pretty hard for my paycheck.
Yeah. So what's the truth? Do you put paycheck above truth?
Nope.
Okay, well then, can you find the truth for me, Dan?
I can't. I'm not going to be able to find the answer to that question.
So basically what you're saying is the truth is very hard to find in this system that you're operating in.
The birth certificates really are, like you say, it's a state thing. The state issue those, not the
So who is representing me to find out the truth?
Well, so you live in Greeley, right?
Because you know what I did do is I called Vital Statistics, and I called Ron, and I have it on video. He admitted that there's no law that says you have to have a birth certificate.
In the state of Colorado, there might be. There's not a federal law like that, probably.
I said, well, what is there a law that says you have to fill it out? And finally, after trying to pull his tooth, he finally admitted that there is no law that says you have to have a birth certificate. He finally admitted it.
Okay.
And then, but the law, when I asked him, he kept repeating the law as if I'm going to be fooled by sorcery, because the law says that a certificate of birth must be filed. It doesn't say we have to fill it out. That's sorcery, Dan, because people are under the impression that they have to have a birth certificate, and you don't.
Okay.
And that's where the fraud begins. It begins by sorcery, making you think you have to have one. And then all of our lives, we are voluntarily entering into this bankrupted system. If we had gold and silver, Dan, we couldn't be bankrupt, because we'd simply have to wait till we get more gold and silver to spend more gold and silver. But what they do is they use this contract of the birth certificate and social security card to give fiat currency value, where you promise and you voluntarily pay the federal income tax, which gives this toilet paper value. And we're not given full details. And it's a fraud. You guys are involved in fraud. And every time I ask you guys a question, every time you guys don't answer my questions, common sense is saying that you guys are guilty. You guys are only convicting yourself.